Hi, this is Prof. Thomas, just trying to help you out a little bit with Excel project number 6. And I'm going to give you some tips that will hopefully help you since we don't have too much time in class to discuss it. So away we go here. One of the hardest parts of this assignment, as you're going to find out if you haven't already, is when it asks you to do an index and match function. And actually it's asking you to nest one function within the other one. And we haven't really done that kind of advanced thing yet. So I thought I'd kind of walk you through it. What you're seeing here on your screen is the Anderson Scholastic Employees worksheet. I've already built the data, I've already formatted the table and done a few things to it, so the data is here. Now what they're asking for you to do is to evaluate and compute the commission. Not too tough, except we've got a couple of steps before we can do that. Basically, the sales is going to be multiplied by the rate here of commission, but it depends on where the employee works. So for example, if their department is higher ed, they're going to get a 7.5% commission versus somebody in K-12 gets 6.5. Somebody in the trades are going to get 8.5. So to figure that out, we can actually do that and put it in one big long function. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So first of all, what we're going to do is start the function like we always do with an equal sign. And then we're going to use the index. And I'm just going to go ahead and just type this in here. And the index function is going to give us, basically, in this case, it's going to give us the row where it finds the match here so it can compute the proper commission percentage. So the way we build this is we have to use some absolute cell references, which we've talked a little bit about. But what we're going to look at is basically setting up for these three percentages in B2, B3, and B4. So we're going to use the absolute cell referencing of $B, $2, and then it's the range between 2 and 4 basically of the same column. So $B, $4. And that's going to be the first part of our index function that we use. And here's where it gets tricky. We're actually going to use the match function in the middle of this, and we're going to nest it inside of there. So here's where we're going to match whatever department they're in to the rate that they should get. So in doing this, we're going to do the match function, and we're going to fire this up. And it tells us to refer to these particular cells by their name or by their column name. So when we do that, it's going to put at department, like it shows here on my screen. And that just means whatever is in this particular column on this row. We could put A8, but they've asked us to specifically to do it this way. So I'm going to set that up. And the first argument basically in this is the lookup value, which is going to be the department. So we want to match higher ed, in this case, with whatever rate there is up above. So our range to figure out what this department is going to match up with is up here in A2, A3, and A4. So we can set up that range, and it's also an absolute cell reference. $A, $2, $2, $A, $4. And then there's a couple of different match types. We can either do a greater than, a less than, or an exact match. In this case, we want to match it exactly. So there's just a code that we have to put in here that basically is 0. After we get done with that, that's my match function, and I've matched up my parentheses. I've got another set of parentheses for my index function. And then all this is going to return for us is the proper rate, or the commission rate, 6.5, 7.5, or 8.5, depending on which one matches here. And we want to multiply that times the sales number. So I'm going to do a little math here and do the multiplication on sales. And again, instead of using the F8 designation here for the particular cell, we're just going to use this at sales, and it'll look at the column that it's in. If I do this, it should calculate everything correctly, and I believe it has. Since we've already got this table set up, what happens is it automatically calculates this entire column. I've already set up the average age, the number of genders here. We've counted the number of people we have in our list. I've also done a total here for sales and a total of commission. So that looks pretty reasonable, right? We had 5.5 million times, should have been 7.5%. So that looks like a fairly reasonable number, and it calculated that commission for me. So again, that's a long function, and it's actually what's called a nested function, one inside another. So I thought I'd lay that out for you. I'm going to do the sort now. I've actually already sorted this, but I'll show you how I did it. Basically, if you can highlight the entire area that you want sorted, in this case, I've got all these records that I'm going to sort. And so I'm going to highlight all of this in the table. And I'm going to go to the data ribbon. And I want to tell it I want to do a sort. And I've actually got two levels to my sort. It says that it needs to be sorted, first of all, by their department and ascending, which ascending order in an alpha field or a text field is going to be A to Z. Then I want to add another level. So I can just click here, add level. And at this point, it wanted to sort it by last name as well. Again, A to Z. When I click that, it's going to sort everything, which I kind of already had it sorted that way, so it didn't look too dramatic when we changed it, but that's what's going to happen. You have to be careful when sorting. You want to highlight all the data that you have. You don't want to just sort one column, because all the data needs to stay together. Every row represents one record. The name, the age, the gender, all stays with that when it gets sorted up and down through the list. So that was the sort. That was pretty basic. We also want to do a filter. And so for filtering, you can see I've got filter here, and it tells us that we want to filter it and look at only the female gender. So for filtering, we can either click down here at the top, or there's a filter button up here, and we've highlighted the gender already. So we can do a filter, and we can say we want to clear this, and we say we just want the females. So we check the box that says female, click OK. Now it gave us only the females in the list. It wanted us to do another female or another filter. Instead of just getting all the females, it also wanted us to look at everything that was above a certain number. In this case, I believe it was 2 million. So we can do that by number by filters, and we can say give us everything that's greater than 2 million. So 2 with 6 zeros after it. And now we've applied a filter. And you can see down here at the bottom, it actually tells us that we're only viewing 4 of the original 13 records. The other data is still there, don't worry. It's still going to be in our worksheet. But right now we're only looking at the female employees who made over, or who had sales in over $2 million. So it pairs our list down and like gives us a subset. If we want to put things back the way they were, we can clear those filters. And so we can say we want to clear the gender filter, and we want to clear the sales filter, puts it back the way we had it originally. So the data doesn't really go anywhere. Same kind of concept when we're hiding columns. This particular assignment didn't ask us to do that. But if I wanted to hide a column like age, I could do hide, and you'll notice my D column just kind of disappeared there. The data's still there. It didn't delete anything. It didn't remove it from my worksheet. But it allows me to change the way that I view that data, and that could be important depending on what I'm doing. I can either undo that, or if I highlight the columns and do an unhide, it'll allow me to put everything back the way it was in the beginning. I hope that helps you a little bit. One other thing, it did some conditional filtering. So it told us to do a different type of conditional filter, or conditional formatting, sorry. We go to the icon sets, and it asks us to use a specific one, which was this 3 triangles, which is just an icon or does shapes. When we click on that, what it does is it gives us just kind of a quick visual of those that are at the higher end. It gives us the ones that are at the low end, and then it gives us a little dash line for those that are kind of somewhere in the middle. So it does an evaluation of the data for you. It just allows you to look at it quickly and easily and determine what we have there in that column. And it puts it right there in the cell along with the number that we have. But that's one way to use conditional formatting. We've seen other ways where you can actually change the way that the text looks, things like that. So hopefully this helps you out with Excel Project 6 and SAM. If you have any questions, please always contact me, and I'll do my best to help you out. Thanks.